Hello everybody, my name is Bill Allen. This is Anna Abramian. This is my wife Faye. We'd like to tell you a story about mostly Anna. Anna has, or had, we hope, 2 breast cancerous tumors. Anna and I met on December 8th when she came to my office. She had found a newspaper report online. Do you want to just zoom in on that, Jacqueline, so you have it? It's available online still. It's called York Region, Bill Allen. It's a story about oxygen. And it's how to breathe 10 or 15 times more oxygen through the lower diaphragm than an ordinary person does. Anna came to our office on December 8th, and Anna has not only 2 cancerous tumors, but she also has a neuromuscular disorder called Myasthenia-2, which is practically incurable. Anna says today that she's about 70% improved from myasthenia. In fact, on the first day when she came to the office on December 8th, she only did 2 or 3 breaths that morning, in fact 3. And the symptoms from myasthenia, which are droopy eyelids, double vision, weakness of the jaw, paralysis actually of the jaw, weakness of the arms and the legs. 2 or 3 of the symptoms completely just disappeared on December 8th, which was the droopy eyelids and the double vision. And she had improved blood circulation in her legs at that time, right down to her toes, she said, from breathing extra oxygen. This is simply just breathing. It's not any artificial supply of oxygen. It's just getting extra oxygen that's provided by the lower diaphragm into the body by a special way of breathing. So maybe Anna can say a couple words. She looks a lot healthier today than she did 3 months ago on December 8th, amazingly. The paralysis in her jaw is gone, the droopy eyelids are gone, the double vision is gone.
Blurry vision.
The strength, yeah, blurry vision. She drove up to her office on December 8th and had to cover one eye just to drive her car. In fact, we were thinking of reporting her to the police after she told us that she had to drive up there with one eye.
I was so afraid that, what if I get caught? How am I going to explain? I can't talk, I can't see. My driver's license was going to be taken away, so I was lucky enough that I wasn't pulled over.
So from that day on, Anna's been doing an average of maybe 40 or 50
I go sometimes
breaths per day. These breaths are incredibly simple to do. I started myself 4 years and 4 months ago. I haven't had a cold for 4.5 years. My atrial fibrillation disappeared 4.5 years ago. I haven't had the flu. And there's 30 or 40 or 50 people doing this now, this breathing routine, and they're all experiencing some small to major miracles. Anna has been taking chemotherapy since December 8th, and she has 4 or 5 or 6 miracles all of her own. Her blood pressure has gone from the highest of 177 over 110 at the end of November. She's now down to probably an average of about 120 over 80. And 3 weeks ago at her last chemo, she was as low as 117 over 77. At the Princess Margaret Hospital, they recorded her oxygen level 3 weeks ago at 100%, and the nurse said at that time that she had never seen it before, and most cancer patients are at 75 to 80.
drops down to 75.
75 to 80 after the chemotherapy. After her chemo shots on that day, 3 or 4 weeks ago, she was still at 100%, and her blood pressure was at about 120 over 80, which the nurse said is usually 180 over 80. So Anna's 180 over about 110, not over 80. So Anna's experiencing a lot of things that cancer patients don't experience. She's also had a reduction in her tumors of 97% from 42 square centimeters back on December 8th to today. Her largest tumor, which is the only one that is existing right now, it looks like, but just about the size of the end of that pen there, about 1 inch long. Anna's cancerous tumor, the largest tumor, was the size of an orange, 42 square centimeters on December 8th. So we think that the oxygen that Anna is breathing, much, much more oxygen than an ordinary person breathes. We think it's very likely helping the cancer, but we have no way of knowing. It might be entirely the chemotherapy. But if it is the chemotherapy, she's experiencing a 10 out of 10 as far as her rating is concerned, because it's down to 3% of what it was 3 months ago. From what we can find online, that it appears to be at least exceptional. What we do know is that she's definitely getting response from the myasthenia, because that's just evident with improved muscular tone all over her body. The lack of droopy eyelids, where is the first symptom with myasthenia, where people have to hold their eyelids open because that's the first weakness of muscle that shows up in the human body.
Anna, tell them what we're going to do when this is all over with.
We're going to go to the dance floor
That's
and
right.
celebrate.
And have some awesome Greek food.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And is far better, healthier looking right now, amazingly, after about 5 chemotherapies in the past 12, 13, 14 weeks. She looks way better than December 8th. When she came to the office on December 8th, her jaw would hardly move. She picked up a bottle of water and had a hard time trying to drink the water. With one breath and the increased oxygen from one breath, which kicks up your blood flow, Anna's paralysis in her jaw disappeared. And the droopy eyelids disappeared and the blurry vision disappeared, and she drove home with crystal clear vision on December 8th, which she still has today. That's really unheard of with the symptoms of myasthenia gravis.
I promise not to get emotional, because I see these commercials on television. I'm going, oh, come on, don't cry. So I'm not going to get emotional about this. But people really need to know about the effects of lower diaphragm breathing. I am not the same person. I am, in fact, healthier. I don't know how to say this. I am healthier before getting my thymus gland removed, because that's what I was told that by removing my thymus gland, my myasthenia would improve, that I would be a completely different person within weeks. Not only I didn't get well, I actually got worse. And that if somebody wasn't with me, I'm not sure if I would be sitting here today, because I was actually contemplating taking my life away. I had blurry vision. I couldn't talk. I was just making noises. My facial muscles were so weak that so those weren't pretty times. Anyway, I am down to 2 Mestinons a day. People who have myasthenia know that Mestinon is the famous medication we take. I was on 6 Mestinons a day. I'm down to 2 Mestinons. And I take them not to mess up my body. I'm hoping to gradually drop even the 2 Mestinons. The way I'm progressing, Princess Margaret seemed to think that the removal of the thymus gland is the reason. I guarantee you, I live with it every day. I guarantee you, it has nothing to do with the surgery. So, thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Anna.
For putting that article out there, for putting yourself out there, because people are extremely skeptical about non-medical methodologies together. I'm sitting here telling you guys, start to breathe, start to breathe, start to breathe.
So easy. It's so easy to do.
It is easy, it's very easy. I know popping pills sometimes is a lot easier, but boy, 6 Mestinons to 2, to me that's a miracle. So, I am grateful. I have one more chemo on Monday the 12th, March 12th. And then surgery, and Lord knows, once Princess Margaret gets hold of someone, then I don't know what's next, but for the moment, my tumor has shrunk from
42 square centimeters.
from 6
down
by 7 centimeters. 3 weeks ago, I was,
1.25 square centimeters.
that's right.
From 42 down to 1.
So, I'll keep you posted. Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much. Wonderful meeting.
Thank you.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Keep reading, guys. Keep reading.